America deserved 9/11, dude. F it, I'm saying it.
I find that there are only two things which are open to our movements: ballot or bullet.
I used to say that democracy is haram. Now I say participation in democracy is our jihad, because this is our modern jihad. You can elect a person who wants the Sharia.
I will not denounce Sharia law, and I endorse globalization of intifada.
That this is all jihad, that this is all ibadah.
Why are we living in the United States? We're living here to shift this country's political direction.
The United States, as an economy, as a superpower, is falling down. This is the time now, they're weak, to go and do jihad and implement Islam on them.
America will be a Muslim country. Islam will enter every house.
Most likely they can run for public office at all levels of government in our society.
There have been over 800 Muslim candidates running for office.
That seek to dismantle the United States. I hope you seek to dismantle the United States.
As always, I cannot wait for the West to fall.
The conventional wisdom would tell you that I am far from the perfect candidate.
New York, the city that promised it would never forget, ground zero. The sacred wound America swore would never be allowed to heal into complicity. And yet, here we are, just over 2 decades after 9/11, New York elects Zoran Mandani as mayor, a man openly aligned with extremist sympathetic networks, backed by the Council on American-Islamic Relations, cheered on by pro-Hamas mobilizers, and publicly declaring on election night,
I am Muslim. I am a democratic socialist. I refuse to apologize for any of this.
There's nothing wrong with practicing freedom of religion, but there's something wrong when the ideological infrastructure surrounding a politician has demonstrable ties to radicalization networks. And as the late CEO of Turning Point USA, Charlie Koch, would say,
is macro Islam compatible with Western values? Macro. Of course it's not.
And that is where our story begins. The statistics from America's own mosques tell a story no one dares to touch. In a comprehensive study of 100 American mosques, researchers found 51% contained literature advocating violent jihad. 82% of imams in these mosques recommended studying these materials, and mosques with the most extreme literature had the highest attendance. New York has more than 500 mosques, more than 60 former churches converted, and many preaching exactly the ideology that killed 3,000 Americans in this city. I met Pat Bronson, a former NYPD officer who stood in this very place when the towers fell. He describes the gray dust, the silence, the feeling that America had entered a new war, one it didn't choose. Pat simply says, we promised we would learn, but we didn't.
I had been retired for 5 years when the towers went down, but I had started a security investigations and intelligence company called Brosnan, a large client of ours, who called and asked me to rally together a team of armed guys that we could get down to ground zero. Many of them were in various stages of shock that we were at the largest crime scene in the history of modern history. The towers were raging. It was just chaotic beyond comprehension, nightmarish on every level, on every sense, vision, smell, heat, hearing. It was just a multiple assault on the senses. There was bodies being recovered from the pile and brought out with ceremony, and then there was a whole landfill process in Staten Island with the identification process. Those were all sub-nightmares to the major nightmare. It really didn't get any better as every day passed. It actually kept getting worse because the fatality count was coming in, and it was really incomprehensible. It truly was incomprehensible. It was impossible for my mind to conceptualize or to understand the number of dead, that it was 3,000 people murdered. And then the other numbers came in, the number of firefighters who were murdered, which will forever be emblazoned in my brain. 343 murdered in cold blood, eviscerated, pulverized. 51 police officers. And you would see outside the hospitals, which was unbearably sad, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of doctors and nurses with nothing to do. And everywhere were the pictures on poles, on walls, on windows. And there was very, 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 very few miracles where, there was a handful where folks survived, from the direct hit. And that was unbearable, without question. I tried to draw some positivity out of it, and I was able to the extent that I saw the greatness of unity of complete strangers, every color, every religion, every ethnicity. And, there was numerous stories I could go on and on of great heroism, great valor, great sacrifice. That was a great thing to see, it really was, and to learn. As much as the recurring mantra has been, is, and will continue to be for many folks, to never forget. But many have forgotten. Way too many have forgotten, because they have voted in a radical ideologue. They have voted in an individual whose publicly stated agenda will bring this city to its knees. And one of his good buddies, is incomprehensible as it is to even think about it, is an unindicted co-conspirator from the attacks on February 26, 1993, when 6 Americans were murdered and the towers were hit for the first time and thousands went to the hospital. This is a friend of his. He's now the mayor. He's the mayor. He's the mayor of New York City. God help us.
From these ashes of New York, we move to the child of Sani Ibrahimi. Raised under hardline Islamic law, she describes fear, control, the doctrine of submission. Women's rights, not rights, but permissions. She explains concepts Americans rarely hear. Her voice shakes when she speaks.
What I escaped from in Iran is now being voted into office in New York.
Not all of them are extremists to a point of violence, but they are extremists enough to justify violent actions. We see today, in this day and age, people in the Muslim community who say America deserved 9/11. That should be very alarming to people.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
I was born and raised in Iran, and I was a practicing Muslim until 18. When you read Quran, there are a lot of verses about how many things you can do for God to get really mad at you, and the wrath of God, and torture, and different levels of hell. If you don't wear hijab, this happens, and if you show skin, they're gonna burn your skin, and they're gonna pour like silver down your throat, and all of these scary things. So I remember as a kid, I would cry myself to sleep, and I would think, I wish I would die young so that I commit less sin so I can end up going to heaven, so God can forgive me, because God seemed really angry and really vengeful. And eventually I got to a point at 18 years old that I thought to myself, if this is the God of this world, and he's so cruel and mean and angry at us all the time and is looking for an excuse to throw us in hellfire, let him have it. You see the hardship that women go through under the name of Islam. Your people getting arrested, tortured, raped, and killed, and executed, hanged, and lynched. It does something to you. Islam is not separable from politics. And the ultimate goal is to expand these Islamic values and make everyone a Muslim. The word jihad can be used for any action that helps advancing causes of Islam, empowering Islam, and basically move Islam forward towards expansion. And jihad doesn't come in this day and age with bombs. It comes with brainwashing the youth, and later on destroying the society from within. So when we see, for example, a video of Zoran Mamdani's intern who's talking about jihad, ibadat, I don't think she is talking about violence attacks and bombings and anything of that sort. No, she's talking about infiltrating the system and advancing the cause. And that cause might lead very well to violence.
And the true believer knows that none of this is in vain, that this is all jihad, that this is all ibadah, and that this is all counted for by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The conversation of doxing, the conversation of getting arrested and suspended, I think it's time for Muslims to start to say, all right, how gangsta are you?
I am very concerned about those extremists being acknowledged and being accepted and embraced by someone who is leading the city. And that will put me in danger as someone who's vocal against Islam as an ideology, because there is nothing worse in Islam than being a believer who lives their religion and talks against it. He will not bring Sharia law to New York overnight, no, but he will empower a network of extremists who will eventually damage the society in different ways if they're not stopped, yeah.